Hello, welcome. We're live. Hola a todos, bienvenidos en directo. Aquí Damien Rohrbach. Estoy modelando. Hoy nada más audio, no hay cámara conectada, así que bueno, estoy haciendo un quetzal que son para terminaciones de pulseras en plata. Y bueno, estoy terminando. Es domingo 7 de noviembre ya. Pero bueno, igual como me queda trabajo bastante interesante que hacer, dije, bueno, pues vamos a estar en vivo un rato. Así que bienvenidos y welcome. I'm using Blender 3.0 and I'm modeling a quetzal in silver. It's for a bracelet ending. Okay, so I need all right, this is pretty good. So we're going to go on the side view. This must do a I have great news. I will be making an amazing tutorial with Light Tracer version 2. Just came out. It's a fantastic rendering software for many people, many products, cars, jewelry, industrial design, all you want. One of my cats is here with me. I don't know what she wants now. All right. So I'm working on this. This is for a client. This is a Mexican serpent with feathers, which is called the quetzal. Well, it's not just Mexican, it's Latin American in general. Hello. She's very happy that I'm live. Okay, so let's try to finish this tonight. I don't want to take too long now, so that's why I started. I wanted to do this live now to show how it is to complete a. This is mesh modeling. There's no sculpting yet. I think I won't need sculpting at all, and so this is not a sculpting project. I love sculpting with Blender. You know that I don't use ZBrush. It's funny how you get along with some softwares, or just some softwares become part of your life. Hay ciertos programas, bueno, mucha gente sabe que, bueno, yo hago escultura con Design, con el Shaper, y hago escultura con Blender. Entonces, como decía, yo no utilizo ZBrush. Bueno, obviamente muchísima gente conoce ZBrush, pero es chistoso, como decía, como a veces uno utiliza un programa u otro. Por ejemplo, yo en diseño vectorial utilizo Corel. Entonces, bueno, hay gente que piensa que Corel no es tan profesional. Y pues a mí resulta que Corel tiene todas las herramientas que necesito para hacer los proyectos pagados. Y hace muchísimos años que utilizo Corel, ¿no? Pues es que lo tenían en... De hecho, la historia es súper chistosa ahí con Corel, porque cuando yo llegué a México en el 2000... diciembre 2002... mi mamá vivía en Puebla en esa época, no vivía en... bueno, trabajaba en Puebla, pues en fin. Y ella tenía Corel en su computadora. Yo un programa que nunca había usado. En el taller de mi maestro, él usaba Mac. Y pues él usaba Illustrator. Entonces ahí lo veía, porque él no hacía 3D. Cosa muy chistosa, ironía de la vida. Él no hacía 3D, él sí hacía dibujo de joyas bastante interesante con Illustrator en Mac. Pues ya desde bastantes años, en el año 2000, pero antes que lo conociera, yo lo conocí en el 2000. En el 2000, sí lo conocí en el 2000. Empecé mi formación en febrero del año 2000. Sí. No estoy tan seguro de las fechas, no importa tanto. Ok, bien, esto... a ver, no, ¿por qué esto se sale tanto? Ok, sí. Bien, bien, pues él hacía dibujo de joyas, pero en 2D, con colores y las gemas y todo lo hacía, y era muy interesante. Pero usaba Mac y usaba Illustrator. Yo en mi casa ya tenía un PC, pero era chistoso porque yo toda la vida tuve Commodore en mi casa, tuvimos un ZX Spectrum cuando era así ya muy niño. Bueno, en fin, vamos a hacer un biselado a esta cosa. Y entonces tenía PC. Bueno, tenía un Mac clásico, también tuve uno en la casa un tiempo. Bien, pero vaya, yo no usaba tanto Mac. Nunca me ha gustado mucho el Mac. Y para 3D, la verdad, yo no aconsejaría realmente que utilicen Mac para hacer 3D. Están mejorando y todo con los nuevos chips M1 propietario y todo, ok, está bien, pero mucha gente tiene que reprogramar muchas cosas. Y pues como que... como que no... O sea, vaya, no compara las potencias de las tarjetas gráficas que tienen el mundo PC. Pues... En fin, entonces hacíamos 2D con Illustrator. Pues yo cuando llegué a México, ahí en casa de mi mamá estaba Corel. Y pues lo empecé a usar. Era Corel versión 3, creo. Versión 3. Y lo fui usando. Y como ella necesitaba que le ayudara en pues, edición de libros, portadas de libros, toda la paginación de libros, pues usaba Corel en el trabajo, ¿no? Pues cosas de la vida, como decía, nada más. Y etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, por ejemplo, para escultura 3D, pues yo no utilizo ZBrush. Uso Design Shaper, que es orgánico CAD, lo cual es fabuloso. Y utilizo Blender para esculpir. Entonces, pues ya Blender para esculpir, honestamente, está súper bien. Hay mucha gente que se queja de lo lento que llega a ser, pero pues es que sí hay que aprender a optimizar pues tanto la computadora como obviamente lo que hacen con un programa en una cierta computadora. Yo no siempre tuve una computadora realmente potente para el trabajo. Tenía pues PCs bastante chafas. Durante muchos años en México yo no tenía el dinero para tener otras que pues alguna Dell que compraba ahí en Telmex o en Sanborns, así computadoras de 10,000 pesos. Para mí era un milagro, ni sabía que era una tarjeta gráfica, etcétera, etcétera. Entonces, pues durante muchísimos años en mi taller, en mi trabajo, en mi institución, todo eso, yo no tenía una PC realmente dedicada en potencia de RAM o procesador y todo eso. Pero al pasar de los años, tuve un poco de suerte, digamos, y empecé a leer y aprender mucho más de los componentes de PC. Y un día tuve una Quadro 4000, estuvo bastante bien, pero no me gustan mucho las Quadros, honestamente, para el trabajo que hacemos. Las Quadros yo las recomiendo para gente que hace eventos multipantalla y eso, porque ahí las Quadros tienen un poder impresionante para eso, como la video edición en vivo y todo. Y casos de 3D muy específicos de cantidad de partículas, por ejemplo, pero a grados de muy alta resolución. Entonces, las tarjetas cuadro luego en render, en realidad, bueno, son tarjetas mucho más caras, pero no dan una potencia al nivel del precio, pues. Eso es lo que, ya hablo por experiencia. Varios años tuve una cuadro, me costó mucho dinero, pero había sido mal aconsejado. Es mejor comprar una 390 si hacen... y por ejemplo con Blender. Y con Blender sí es bueno tener varias tarjetas gráficas. Okay, alright. So we have this. Okay, so tonight I don't know if I'm going to make the show in English or in Spanish, because I don't know people who are connected, if you can say hi. And tell me if you want the show. Los que quieren que haga el video, bueno, ahorita el vivo, que lo haga en español o en inglés. Depende de la gente conectada. Entonces, los primeros que me digan, bueno, los primeros y la mayoría de gente que me diga ahorita en vivo que haga el vivo en español, lo voy a hacer en español. Y si no, lo voy a hacer en inglés. Así que depende. Bueno, ahorita nada más voy a seguir avanzando sin hablar mucho más. Voy a aprender. So I'm going to keep speaking in English, I guess. So now it's going to depend from who's connected. If the people connected are want me to make the live session in English, I'm going to do it in English, but they must say something in the chat, please, if somebody wants to. All right. So, ¿en español o en inglés? En español o en inglés. Pongan en el chat. ¿En English or in Spanish? Or in French, even. Okay, so here we are. I need a taper curve now. Taper curve. Let's add curve. Bezier curve. Line to the view. Ah, no, I said Bezier curve, please. So, let's make it in English anyway. Bezier curve. This is going to be the taper curve here. I need the eyebrows to be smaller, and I need to have the ending to be much bigger. All right, so let's have a look at this. This is mainly this. I need this to be bigger, but I need the end. Okay, so taper curves, we need to come here. Okay, this is pretty good, but this must come way further and then suddenly come down. All right, so I'm modeling a quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered snake. It's a legend in not only in Mexico, it's also in Guatemala. And this is a silver design for a chain ending, for a clasp, basically. And this is a customer request, so I'm finishing this design tonight. And I said, well, it's really interesting to see how this gets done. And here we are live for, I don't know, an hour, maybe faster. I'll do the render pretty soon. Okay, pretty soon now. So now we need the nose. There's a nose, and we need to change the design here. This goes here. Let's have a look to the front. All right, this goes. Okay, this is pretty good. This goes here, and this goes further, I guess. Further, and this also should come further. Front. Is that all right? Okay, this is pretty good. Okay, so I was saying, great news. There's in a couple of days I will be making a new video with the new light tracer rendering system. The version 2 just came out, and now they have path tracing with light tracer. And this is I already tested it. Some people saw a ring that I made. Well, I just made the render yesterday, I think. Okay, anyway, is that good? Is that what we want? Okay, but the ending. Okay, so I need to bring this way further, and this lower. Okay, I can't go that low. This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Maybe I need just another subdivision right here for the taper curve. Let's see if I can get that. This is pretty well anyway. Okay, this is looking pretty good. So I just need the nose now. Nose. There's a nose in the middle. In the middle, there's a big nose. I'm going to do this with a cube. You know that in Blender we do many things using the default cube, obviously. So let's just go add mesh cube. Let's go here. Front view, so I'm going to come on the left side. I'm going to turn on the mirror here based on the head here, the forehead, and the clipping is going to be on in the y-axis for the mirror. Now we need to, let's go here somehow. Okay, so the position is pretty good for the nose now. Front view. How far high should I go? All right. Well, pretty high, in fact. Let's go here. Now let's make this not so wide, and let's start extruding. Let's start extruding the nose. So this is going to be the nose. But it must end like this. And where should it end? Pretty much here. Okay, so let's make it bigger here and wider here. Is that all right? This is pretty good. Now I need to inset this face. So the I key, not too much. Now let's see if I make it smaller a bit, maybe right here, because these are the nose. Okay, it goes like that. This is pretty nice. And it comes in triangle up here. There's a triangle right there. Okay, something like this. And maybe wider here. Okay, and now we're going to need just a subdivision modifier very shortly, at least twice or 3 times. But before that, I need it beveled, and I need the bevel before the subdivision. So now I need the bevel before. Okay, this is great because the bevel keeps the sharpness of the geometry. Okay, so it's quite important to have that turned on before the subdivision modifier. Now in the nose can come like this, by example, but let's make it a bit higher. Okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting, and it's going to be smooth shading. All right. So let me just check. I think the design is complete. But maybe I need to let's have a look. I need some spheres. Okay, let me add some spheres here and there. All right, yeah. Okay, we're gonna go with some spheres. Let's add a mesh sphere. So these types of designs, they're mostly mesh modeled. And they're symmetric, so it's quite practical to use the mirror. And symmetric designs, they're a bit faster to do, obviously, and they're a bit easier than asymmetric organic designs. where you basically would have to sculpt the design. Okay, but okay, let's do this. So I really love this request. This is a paid job from a client. It's a client who sends really very interesting designs, very challenging and varied designs. And I really love doing this because it's a lot of fun. And they're very interesting designs to do with Blender, by example. Even if some I do using 3Design, obviously. Many people know that I use several softwares. But I do use Blender for a lot of professional 3D modeling requests. Mainly for jewelry, not always for jewelry, not only for jewelry. And okay, this is looking pretty well. So I am working from photo references, but most of the time I can't show the pictures because well, I don't own the rights of the pictures that we use for modeling references. So that's always a problem. You should never forget that many pictures on the web are well, they have copyrights, okay, and many people forget that. Obviously you could have problems on YouTube very easily, not only with the music. You could, many people had problems with I don't want to copy anymore. Yeah, I just want to move this, grab, okay, here, grab this, and is this neat? Yeah, I think it's pretty neat. Okay, let's try also there. Okay, top view. So I can't obviously make a YouTube video using, even if there's something called a fair use, which is generally the normal defense of many people, but depending on the, well, you never know who owns a picture. It's generally pretty hard to find out, but you should know that many pictures, they do have owners. So you really should take that into account. You can buy the pictures, you can find who is the owner and request for the usage of the picture, but that generally is very time consuming. It can be very expensive also, obviously. So I would not well, I do recommend to do that, but generally we don't have time to do that, especially if you're going to do a quick tutorial or a live session. Well, many people don't check the rights for the music or an image, and that's when you can have problems. So like I said, there's the fair usage allegation. You can say I'm not selling the picture, I'm just using it for a quite obvious art project, but not really copying the picture and things like that. But generally that's not a good idea, especially for videos on YouTube. You should really avoid, well, if you don't want to be banned or have problems with copyrights, you should do what I'm doing. I'm talking about that I do have a photo reference for what I'm modeling now, but I'm not showing the picture on screen. And even this is very well, it's not an exact copy because they've sent me two different pictures and they're very different in the feathers, let's call, well, feathers or leaves. And so I did like a mix. Okay, so now basically I'm almost done. I just need to make a boolean of that, because this, like I said, is for a chain ending. So the chain enters right in here. Okay, we need also to make a boolean here from the cylinder. Fast difference cylinder. Okay, and obviously there's one, but why would, okay, let's make the, when the fast doesn't work, make an exact. Booleans in Blender are really well implemented. They work very well. Blender is a great software for booleans. Honestly, you should know that. Never underestimate Blender for booleans. On the opposite, Blender is very efficient for booleans. That's why many people use Blender for, well, creating models for 3D printing, by example. Because generally for 3D printing we need to make a lot, and when I say a lot of very complex booleans, not like just this one I just did now. This is a very basic boolean. It's just one subtraction or difference boolean, and that's it. And this design is very simple. It's just a cylinder with a couple of vertices and a block, which is a part of the head of this. Well, let's call it a dragon, because it's funny because the client called it a dragon. It's not really a dragon. It's a quetzalcoatl, which is a feathered serpent from the Mexican mythology. Like I said, it's not only Mexican, it's also, well, it's from Latin America generally. So you can find this well, let's call it the Mexican god if you want. It's not very accurate to call it like that, but to make it very simple and to explain it very simple, and it's a very common design in Mexican jewelry, especially in silver. Silver Mexican jewelry is internationally famous. Actually, Mexico is the highest silver manufacturer in the world, but also because Mexico, just like Peru, but generally Mexico now is #1 in silver mines extraction. Mexico is very rich since basically always. Even the Spanish, when they conquered Mexico and, well, killed almost everybody, they used many people in the silver mines, and almost all the silver went to Spain, obviously, but also then the Americans had a train that was bringing all the Mexican silver to Texas, basically. All right, and well, it's funny because Texas used to be Mexican until it was sold. Well, so much for Mexican history, and actually I'm not very that much familiar with the Mexican history, but these are way too famous events, and especially I know pretty much of Mexico through the jewelry history in Mexico, because I've been teaching for so many years in Mexico, so I had to, well, obviously I learned a lot through a lot of people, friends, interviews, TV shows, and my work in general during almost 20 years. So obviously I learned a lot about the story of the well, silver manufacturer, silver mining in Mexico. And well, I'm talking about this design. The quetzal in Mexico is a very common silver jewelry design. So, but the client is not Mexican. He's from the USA, and like I was saying, it's funny because he requested this design as a dragon. Okay, well, it kind of looked like a dragon. So we're are we done? That's the question now. Are we done? I think we're okay. All right, so we're almost done. Let's go to the back view here. I just need a torus, like a small loop. Okay, so align to the view, and let's make it bigger, like 3. Let's change the position here. Let's bring it here. Okay, the problem is that the alignation now, let's go to world. Let's go to world and let's rotate on Y, 90 degrees, okay. So generally I don't do that when creating a Torus, by example. I do that after, you know that in Blender you can add any type of mesh, and you have all the presets when you are creating the mesh in this window, like in this Add Torus window. You can change the sizes, the radiuses, the position, the rotation, and all of that while you're creating the mesh, which is different than then editing the coordinates, the rotation of the mesh. And sometimes, but very rarely, I do it during the creation process. Generally, I first create any type of mesh and then I edit the mesh. But the problem is with the Torus, once the radiuses are set, you can't really change them that easily because of the proportion of the Torus mesh. So in jewelry, when we're designing, by example with Blender, but not just with Blender, many things that I teach or show during tutorials or during videos are super specific to the jewelry designing or meshing or 3D modeling for jewelry. It's very specific because there are, let's say, laws of sizes, thickness, weight, metal properties, 3D printing properties, casting properties, soldering properties, gemstone setting properties. So modeling jewelry, 3D modeling jewelry is a very specialized job, actually. So I know that many people, well, because my channel is growing, many people want to be jewelry designers, and it's hard. I already explained in many videos why it's really hard to live from jewelry design. Well, the first reason, and let's be honest, sometimes I'm not so clear about that, about why jewelry design, and not just in 3D, because you can be a jewelry designer and maybe you won't be modeling jewelry in 3D. It's not absolutely necessary. You can, there are many designers, jewelry designers, who make wonderful hand drawings. I still do them because it's fantastic to draw, just draw jewelry. And I also became, well, let's say important or famous because or thanks to my drawings. And it's also a must. You must draw your jewels. And basically the job of a jewelry designer is to draw the jewels, not necessarily to model them or 3D model them, for that matter. Okay, so you must be very good at drawing, but like I say in many videos, and I think I will spend the rest of my life, even if I'm not teaching to beginners anymore, but I will keep saying what I'm saying all my life. You must manufacture jewels. You first need to learn. Oh, I won't be moving this. Because in the world there are too many jewelry designers. That's the first problem. You must know, if you want to live and really just become a jewelry designer and not be a jeweler, because honestly in the jewelry business, well, there's like two options to really make money the right way. It's first you buy jewelry and become a wholesale business. So you're a jewelry reseller or seller. Most people in the business start like that, and many people make money, and many people, yeah, there you can say that many people do make a lot of money buying and reselling jewelry. any type of jewelry, silver jewelry, plastic jewelry, gold jewelry, diamonds, and you can also sell and buy and sell stones, diamonds, but that's also very specific, and you need to study gemology, and you need to know, well, then you need to know people. But you can become a jeweler, and so that's the other way. So the first way is to buy jewelry and sell jewelry. You become a wholesale and a businessman in the jewelry field. Like you can sell wines, you can sell perfumes, you can sell clothes. Well, you can sell jewelry, and many people are in the jewelry business that way. And I guess also that many of my followers, in fact, are people, are that type of people. And so that's, I know all of that also because, like I always say, I've taught to so many people, to such a wide audience of people from a lot of countries. Not only, well, the school was in Mexico City. I still live in Mexico City. But I've known thousands of people through my job as a jewelry teacher, as a jeweler. And many of my students were jewelry salesmen. Not designers, not jewelry makers, they were jewelry salespersons. And that's a very different mindset. So generally, many people from the jewelry wholesale business side of the jewelry field, sooner or later, they want to really study jewelry making. You know, because when you're selling silver, silver jewelry, let's say you're selling silver jewelry, well, you want to know how to make what you're selling. Generally, it's a good idea. If like you're selling clothes, denim maybe, you want to know how the brands you're selling are making their product, because you want to know about the quality of your product. So then obviously I had many students who were jewelry salespersons, okay? And some try to become jewelers and then jewelry designers, because it's like the dream of people selling jewelry is to become a jewelry designer or a jeweler. Some people, well, think that it's maybe easy, but you should know that jewelry making, to really become a jewelry maker, a jeweler, a goldsmith, to make the jewel directly by hand, or using any type of technology for that matter, 3D printing, any technology, manufacturing jewelry is one of the hardest crafts in the human history, in the human field. And it's crazy because obviously many people, when they think about designing jewelry, well, very naturally they don't suspect that jewelry making is going to be that hard. I made the same mistake. I think we all make the same mistake when we start. Okay, so this is for a chain and it's done. But I want to make some pretty renders for the client. I need front view, side view, top view, and one isometric view. And because I really enjoy making live sessions. It's Sunday night. I still need to go to the gym basically, but it's not that late, so I can train a bit later. Let's say in like 20 minutes. Let's try to make this in 30 minutes. Okay, so jewelry making and jewelry designing. Well, then jewelry designing, there are too many jewelry designers because that's everybody's dreams. I want to be men, women, trans people, gay people, children's, old people. Everybody wants to become a jewelry designer. So everybody says, I'm a jewelry designer. it's very easy to say. But then to really become able to live from your jewelry designs, it's one of the hardest field to really achieve that. And I'm in this field for 21 years now. I've been in this field and I've been living from jewelry making. But generally, well, the fun is that when you're a jeweler and you also make jewelry designs and you also sell jewelry, you have many ways to make money. So like by now in the pandemic, like I said, I quit teaching basically because I closed the school. It was time after that many years. So I'm not making that much money teaching, but I still teach to very advanced users and to corporate clients, okay? So I make money teaching. But then suddenly I don't have students. But then I have jewelry making clients. Somebody wants a wedding ring, so I design that ring and I make that ring for that client. So I'm designing the ring and I'm manufacturing the ring, sometimes using 3D, but also sometimes totally by hand. So then I make money manufacturing jewelry because, like I said, first become a jeweler. And then I make designs for clients. So that's generally 3D models because I make the 3D models. They pay me the 3D models. And these clients, they're jewelers from many countries. Some are from the US, some are from Spain, some are from Argentina. So any country. And well, then I make money designing and making 3D models. And then also I make jewelry assets. And many people following the channel really know and enjoy my 3D assets. They're mostly for jewelers, but I also make just assets, objects, 3D objects. And well, these sell pretty well on the internet. And then I also make NFTs now. So, and I also make websites. So I have many ways to make money, many ways. And that's the first mistake that many people do, is that they want to live from jewelry designing because yes, that's the prettiest side of the business, to just have the highest strangest, magnificent idea for the shape of a jewel, or the idea of a magnificent jewel. Okay, so let's start. Let's create the HDR environment. Let's go for a texture somewhere. So these are mine, but these are not HDRs. Where are the textures? Where are they? Ah, here. Okay, let's try this one. Okay, we're gonna have this, and let's have a look. Let's have a preview look. Obviously there are no materials at all anywhere, but okay, the light is already pretty good. This is going to be a very quick product render in silver, but I want to make a silver, like a burnished silver with some casting imperfections. Okay, so let's start with this. Where are we now? This is the entire. Okay, so by example now what I can do, let me take the entire design here. Let's export it. Let's go to file. First, I'm going to make the STL file. Obviously, I'm going to test the file. So, okay, Dragon Silver STL, selection only, export STL. Let's go to Netfab. Let's go to the STL Doctor. So, I'm just waiting here. And the software needs to open. So, that's Netfab. It's one of the. So, from Blender, we export the STL. First, I need to check it. I think it's complete, and the size, I don't know, the size is perfect. It's for a 5mm chain, so that's very specific. Open, okay, let's bring the software to this screen. Open the STL here. So what client is it? Rodrigo, where are you? Here. And Dragon Silver here. So generally when you export an STL, you should know that you are going to have this warning sign, because almost any mesh has edge problems. Like these, you can see what's in yellow. That's what needs to be repaired. But that's also when you need to train in a specific way so that your mesh strategy, let's really call it a strategy, when you're really modeling in a specific way to create very clean mesh models. This is a very clean mesh model. The topology for jewelry is not that important because we're not going to animate anything, we're just going to print it. Topology is important for 3D printing, yes, but this topology is far from perfect, but the meshes are clean, the faces are clean, all the objects are solid and properly closed. The intersection between solids, they're fully completed, so you should never have just one face overlapping another face. One solid must be inside the other solid, and then you get this. It's very easy to repair. This was repaired in like something like 10 seconds. And let's go back to exporting and saving the repaired file. Here you repair again. And now what I can do is that also let's start organizing the file for a second. I'm going to create a new dragon collection. So all the objects from the dragon, I'm going to move them. So I know generally in many files, I honestly don't organize anything from my object because they pay me for the model. They don't pay me for the time. Obviously, generally I look at the model, I say, okay, this is hard, this is easy. I'm going to charge that much because I've been doing this for basically the last 5 years. I'm very good at pricing things, so I generally basically never, well, no, I never commit mistakes when pricing a 3D model for my clients. For new clients, it's a bit harder because, yeah, you know, they always want the cheapest, the cheapest, the cheapest. I don't really believe in the cheapest. Okay, so the thing that when you organize your things in collections, you can hide them and you can remove them from rendering just by clicking on the collection. So that's a bit better. Okay, so now also the plane is that, okay, so this is the floor. Let's start organizing the files. So all the rest, again, I'm going to move it to the dragon collection. Thank you. So never work on the same file when you're rendering something. Never use the same mesh that you use for designing your 3D model, because you're going to destroy basically your mesh. Well, you're putting your mesh at risk. So it's better to export the STL, test the STL, and bring the STL back and render the STL file, because it's a copy from the original, and if you harm that file, well, or that that mesh, it's not that much of a problem. So I'm going to render this. So this is the STL file, and also now I know I can make the render and I know that the file is ready for printing. So now I can render the file and show. Okay, that's another mistake many people make. When you finish the 3D model for 3D printing, never show the renders to the client right away. First, try to make the STL, because some files, the STL is going to be very hard to generate. for bad booleans, for bad modeling, for many reasons. You have holes in some meshes. It happens in the best families, it happens to everyone, it happens to me. Obviously, I have a lot of tricks that, yes, that's something I can't teach on YouTube because, well, basically that's how we make money. People who are better at creating STL files make more money. That's as simple as that. But that's, yeah. All right, so obviously I can show the basics, but I can't show advanced tricks because, well, yeah. But anyway, let's render this. So this is going to get a new material. It's going to be called silver. Okay, silver boy. Let's go to shading. Silver man, silver surfer. Who doesn't love the silver surfer from the Fantastic Four? Okay, so this is looking good, but this looks too plasticky. So metallic 1, obviously. Specular 1, roughness 0. Okay, well, this looks already like silver, basically. But we are going to add a very quick ambient occlusion. That's something I started doing basically this year. It doesn't work for all the models. Let's go at 24, sample distance 10. This is pretty. I'm not even using a light source, but because this is silver and my HDR has a very strong brownish yellowish tint, we must go here and add a color saturation correction on the background. Let's go saturation at 0.1. Okay, that changes a lot. So it's looking pretty. It's looking pretty. So this would be absolutely perfectly polished silver, which do exists. It's funny because most of the time in the, yeah, okay, because like I was talking about the fact that jewelry modeling and jewelry rendering is a very specific, specialized field and work and job and lifestyle and that many things. When we publish our work in, let's say, Blender artists or Blender Facebook sites of groups or pages, there's always a problem that people judge our work based on their 3D modeling experience or VFX experience. And the rules are not the same. Because let's say, by example, this model for a 3D modeler, for a 3D professional modeler, this is not a very hard, because it doesn't have that many details. If you look at the teeth of the dragon, of the feathers, okay, it has some details and it's cool, but it's far from a full 3D character with hair, eyes, eyebrows, all the rigging of the character, all the clothes of the character, all the jewelry of the character, because a fully rigged character for a movie has everything on it. A hat, hair, maybe eyesight lenses or jewelry, all you want, a watch, all the belt from the clothes, from the pants, or maybe a dress if it's a woman, or a transgeneric character, all of the, well, any character you can imagine is going to be way harder to model than this dragon. But when this comes to jewelry modeling and jewelry manufacturing and STL generating for 3D printing, this model is not the hardest I've done. This is simple, but this is already not that simple for the manufacturing process of the jewel. To really materialize this and cast it into silver and really polish this jewel, this involves a lot of work on the modeling side, because it must be modeled with very specific sizes to the real size, because this client wants this for a chain, for a 5mm chain, and the entire design must be made so this is going to be a real jewel. So we're facing very specific details that are very time consuming, that any other 3D modeler In any other field, even video games or movies, these guys made more jewelry design than I do. If the character in the movie or in the video game has a lot of jewelry, it happens sometimes. Even in fighting games or in RPG games, they have a lot of jewels, or the weapons. You can put that in the same category. They have a lot more details because they must look pretty, and they're going to be animated. So they're going to have a lot more technical problems on the rigging side, animation sides, topology sides. Okay. But they're not going to manufacture their design into real life object, and they won't cast it in silver and polish that in silver. Then this jewel needs to be soldered back here, etc., etc. So it's entirely a different world. Okay, so many people in the 3D business, not talking just about jewelry, they just don't know anything about the challenges we're facing. So they're judging our work based on absolutely different criteria, and that's not correct. That's not right. That's wrong. It's really wrong. But generally, I don't take, well, sometimes it ends pretty badly on some Facebook comments, etc., because they also don't know about weight issues and manufacturing issues. So some things we do, they look wrong for anybody in the 3D field. They look wrong, but if you're a jeweler and you look at the model, you will very quickly understand why it's made like that, because manufacturing issues, manufacturing concerns. Okay, so this model just needs, on the silver, I just want some roughness. Okay, so let's bring in texture image. So I'm almost done. I'm going to make the renders for the client, front view, top view, side view, isometric view. All right, let's go to my textures. My textures here. Let's bring something that has I just want some roughness variants. So I need some stains like files. I have many, like yeah, like this. Okay, so roughness, this goes to roughness. Obviously we need to bring in, let's bring input texture coordinates. So another example, by example, the UV, I almost never need to make any type of UV for jewelry rendering. I know quite a lot about UV editing because, like I said, I do more than just jewelry design. And I just generally love 3D. Let's put some bevel node. Also, the bevel node is amazing now for jewelry design here. Let's put this at 20 samples, 0.2 radius maybe. Let's go at 0.5. Okay, but obviously I need to tweak the roughness here, and that's done with a vector brightness node generally here. And now we need a lot more contrasts. Okay, so this is pretty good. And I just want, let's have a look at, okay, this is nice. There's just this part there, the nose. Oh, so maybe contrast 1. Okay, so we can see better the detail on the nose. All right, and I need, what do I need? I need some bump map, just a bump map, and we should be good. Maybe a source light for the shadows, and we'll see about that later. Add texture image, yes, sir. Well, we can copy all of this basically. Let's go here, copy this. Let's plug it into normal. Into the normal from the bevel. Obviously, I need to add a vector bump here, and this go to the height because I rarely use. Now, let's use another image for the bumps. So I need some kind of scratches. Alright, scratches somewhere. So I take a lot of pictures. I really love taking photos for textures. People think I'm crazy when I walk in the streets because I'm taking pictures of the floor, of the walls, and sometimes the police come to me and they say, "Are you alright, sir?" And I say, "Yes, I'm alright. I'm a 3D artist and I'm making textures. That's my job," and they pay me for that. And they understand. I really had a problem. Well, police has come up to me, but I was never arrested because of that. But sometimes you do have troubles with the police when you're taking pictures of well, you're looking really like a weirdo, honestly, let's be like. And well, I've been doing that. The first time I had a problem with the police taking pictures for a 3D work or texture was 20 years ago. In 20 years had happened like 3 times to me. So it's not that much, but you should know that it happens. It happens, and it even happens more than it should. Okay, now the strength 0.01. I just want a very slight bump. Like, yeah, this is perfect. These would be like, and you know what? We're going to go at -1 because I want them to be whole. So let's go at 0.2, and maybe add a mapping vector here because I don't need that much. I think the scale at 0.5 should be pretty good. Okay, now the roughness is still too loose. I need more contrast. So the brightness should go at -1. Now the stains, are they coming? Because I do want these small spots, but not like that. They're too. Let's have a look. Let's see if they come from this. Yeah, they come from this. So this map is not so good. I need a better image for that. Okay, so let's check the bump map. Maybe stronger now. Maybe 0.1. Wait. No, you won't wait. You don't have no time to wait. Okay, so let's see this one. The bump map was good at 1, I guess. Okay, the bump map is not good because it's too even. I need a more uneven. It's funny because the reference image was right there. All right, what do we have here? Okay, something more uneven, something like this then. But I need this to be or smaller. No, in fact at 0.6 should be good, but maybe on the Y it should be less, way less. Yeah, something like that. 0.3 then, and 0.3. Okay, so very slight. Let's go at, well, let's go back at 0.5, 0.5, 0.2. Something like this, and not that strong. Let's go at 0.03. Now I need another image for the roughness map. So this go to roughness. All right, but I'm going to bring in this image goes. So you delete that with the shift key and it goes. You can then clean the file. All right, so we should whatever. More scratches. Sometimes I use woods for scratches, but that's too much. I need more scratches. Just okay. Wait, no, that's not what I want. I want something more like stains. Where are you? I need stains. Wait. Okay, this one. This is good. All right, we have this. We have this, but do I like it? Yeah, it's pretty good, but exactly like I said, we need a lot more contrast. And this, okay, this is almost perfect. Almost perfect. I want those slight scratches here and there, and that's it. Okay. The rest comes from the HDR. All right, let's see front view. Okay, great. So now okay, now because this is just viewport rendering, what we're going to do is that we're going to go with the viewport sample 1000. That's way too high. I don't even need that. Let's okay, the Open image, the noise is better quality. Let's make it accurate. And I'm just going to make, let's have a look at, let's hide the overlays and the gizmos. Let's just render, let it render to, I don't know, wait a second. I just need 512 samples. I don't want 5,000 samples. That would be crazy. Okay, there we have this. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, in fact, I'm just going to make the isometric render with the material because it looks cool. It looks in silver. But I'm going to bring a point light, just point light here somewhere at the top here. It should be good. Let's see, we need to find a light somewhere here. Okay, the light source at 8,000. First make it weight stronger at 250. Now, do I have a camera around here? I don't have a camera. Okay, size of the light is going to be 3. Power of the light is going to be maybe 10. I said 10. Okay, let's go at 1.5 strings 100. Because if I'm going to do this is to get a stronger shadow. So maybe let's bring the environment at 0.5. Okay. Now the light should be not that far. Minus, well, let's put it at 0 maybe. Huh, even 2. I don't want the 5. 15. Okay. That's pretty good. Okay, right, this is pretty nice. Maybe the floor closer to the model to get a stronger shadow from the model right here. And okay, let's bring a camera. The point light is going to go there. In this collection, let's add a camera. And I want my bottle to come from here. So Alt Control 0, you know, to fix the camera view. Well, to get specifically that camera view. Now let's select the camera. Let's move the camera, please. Let's move. Let's move here. Now I want a better close-up, so let's go at focal length like 75, 68, 60. Are we gonna be good? This is too close. 50, 56. We're almost there. In fact, let's move it there. So this is product rendering. We don't need something too fashionable. Let's make it floor. Maybe the floor, the color of the floor changes a lot the expression of the model. So I want the model to be the star of the show. So I'm not going to put designs on the floor. It's not necessary, but maybe bring it down to this and make it slightly metallic. 0.5. Yeah, this is cool. So you know what? Let's check that I did not move the floor by mistake here. All right, and I want to move the camera a bit more to the right up there. Okay, so now we're going to make a proper render of this. But I want the camera to move a bit more here. Okay, that's nice. And because it's a product, I'm not going to use a depth of field or more advanced effects. It's not necessary. Let's remove the denoise from the viewport for a second. Now for the render, I need 320 samples. Really low. Okay, are we using, let me check that we're using all the GPUs because I think it was really slow. Of course, it's not true. Even using optics. Okay, let's make this render at RGB, no compression, and full HD is good. F12, and okay. So there are too many scratches, and I don't like the HDR. I don't like the HDR at all. So I need to rework the shading because I don't like the HDR at all, and this is all because of the HDR. So let's go to the world. Let's remove this HDR and let's have a look at no HDR. All right, let's have a look at the point lights, and I just want to see that there's no. It's funny because this is without any HDR. It's like putting some background color. It shouldn't. It should be black. Okay, but obviously we do need. Why are we getting? Okay, let's try background 0. Okay, that's what I wanted. I just want to test the reflections of the light. So strength at 50. Okay, this is what the point light is making. Let's make it a bit higher. 15 or lower. Okay, 30 is pretty good. Now I don't like the amount of scratches here, so I'm going to make this a lot. Let's go to a math multiply here, and let's make it half. Really, that's the result of that. So let's go at shadow here. Okay, these are the scratches, but the problem is that we have too many scratches. Let's try a mapping. Let's try a mapping vector right here. And well, let's say, because this is obviously not a tileable. Oh, this is starting to be pretty nice. I just need to tweak this. Okay, I need maybe 0.35. We'll see. It's like the scratches, they're too strong. But now I need a new HDR because that's going to change entirely the contrasts. So let's try one of mine. Where are you? Where's my favorite? Yeah, right here. Okay, now strength at 1. Okay, that's pretty good. So when you're not using an HDR, a true HDR for the environment, you don't get that much contrast compared to a true HDR, because obviously the light dynamic range is not so contrasted. It doesn't go from over white to less than black. Okay. Which is what HDRs do. Let's try with some saturation from this design. It's interesting. It's interesting. Let's try some contrast on my own HDR. So, well, this is not truly HDR. But with some more contrast, we can get something pretty nice. This is pretty nice. This is 0.4. And now let me see if the scratches. So now let's tweak again. Every time you change the HDR, you need to tweak the shadings again, all the shaders, because the contrast change drastically when you use another environment. Okay, so this is too strong. This is 0.4. And it's too big. Let's go at 1.5 on the scale. Okay, I just want some slight scratches, so it's still too strong. And maybe make the bump stronger, but then make the bump smaller. This is what I want. But on Y, let's go 0.5. I don't know, let's go to 1 and the rest bigger. Something like that, but very slight. Let's go to 0.05. Okay, but I still don't like the contrast, obviously. Let's try to bring this lower, just a few scratches. Ooh, it's starting to be pretty good. Okay, so, but still, the HDR is not an HDR, so let's try just another file. And then that's when you need to test many things, really many things. For your, okay, let's try this one by example. Say not enough contrast. Let's erase this one. With pink. I love removing it when that happens in Blender. This is great. Okay, this is annoying me honestly here. Let's try a Studio AX or. Okay, so this is a typical. This is what, 1 maybe, and maybe less brightness. All right. Well, this is not very creative, but it's not too bad. So let's have a look, maybe on the floor material. I can make it not that rough, and wasn't too bad. But let's make it, and I can bring also the ambient occlusion on the floor, just for that small detail. Obviously distance 50 on the distance, and color is going to be a lot lower here, 24. It's a bit better for the shadows. Okay, and the camera, I want it further front. This should be good. So let's have a look at the render again. It's just a full HD, it's not even in 4K. It's going to render at 4K. Let's see if the fireflies on the floor are any good. The rest is okay for just a model, a 3D model. The client needs to see that the modeling is properly done. So you don't want too much fancy effects, honestly. This is alright, this is good. We're done here. Just let's save the image, and that's it. That's it for today. So this is Dragon View 1. Okay, so that's the view. But what I'm going to do now, right now. Who's writing me this hour? Okay, great. So we need side views. Let's go to all right, I'm going to have a look at a viewport renderer. Okay, so this is view 2, save image, front view. This is, it looks like a fish from there, but that's all right. Okay, viewport render image. We have this, save view number 3. Here we are, and I need a top view. Top view here. Let's hide the floor to have a color consistency. Viewport render image and image. Save the image, and right here, view number 4. Okay, this is great. So this completes this live session. This was a very quick and easy render setup for a 3D model, a silver 3D model, jewel model. This so-called dragon, which is a quetzalcoatl, obviously. Well, let's call it a dragon. And well, I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Damien Rohrbach, and well, if you need any 3D model done, send it to me. I'll send you a code and we'll start working. So like always, be nice to people, be nice to animals, be nice to the planet. Take care and see you soon.